Thank you for joining us for the Living on Purpose and Not by Accident podcast, brought to you by Summit Financial Group and remedylive. I'm your host, Heather Herron, and I am pleased today to introduce our guest, Jeff Clark from Indiana Wesleyan University. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Excited to be here.
We're excited to really dig in and talk about what motivates you and what your coaching styles are drawn from. So tell us a little bit about your background to begin with.
Yeah, so I've been coaching at Indiana Wesleyan for 17 years with Greg Tonigal, and love the concept of living on purpose, because as we've journeyed through college basketball, that's what our journey's been. We build our foundation of our program on what we call the I am third philosophy: God first, others second, I am third. And really everything in our program is trying to train our young men what it means to first play basketball in an I am third way, but then go on and live life in that way. So really that's the purpose behind why we coach.
And have you always felt that way about approaching basketball?
Well, I certainly felt called into coaching and went into coaching for that reason, but it's something that's grown every year. Early on, I was really focused on how much could we win, the typical standards of success. What level are you at? What's your title? What's your reputation? Your resume. But then as I journeyed and went through coaching, my love for Christ became first in what I did, and it really became the thing that drove everything we do in coaching.
Is it safe to assume that you were a player at one time?
Yeah, so I played at Anderson University, went to Leo High School here in Fort Wayne, but then really got into coaching and found a whole new love and application of my faith through coaching.
And so it's not just about basketball, is what I'm hearing you say. It's really about service, leadership, commitment.
Yeah, what we tell our players is, if you want to be first find a way to be third. And when they first hear it, it rocks their world, because their whole lives they've been trained to put themselves first as they play. But then as they journey through our program, it's really everything we do is trying to train them to be third. And what's been amazing is, in the last 10 years, if you look at all of college basketball, every level, Gonzaga's first in wins, Indiana Wesleyan's number 2, and programs like Duke and Villanova are in the top 5. So it's really played out as we've put God first and others second. We found ourselves having a lot of success.
And so why do you think it is successful?
There's just something contagious about the Christian life when you really sell yourself out for Christ. And when players get in our program, they find a new love and joy and freedom in the game, and their potential goes to another level because they're not playing for themselves, and they're really free to just go after everything that God's put inside of them on the court.
And so you mentioned that basketball players by nature probably are trained to win and to succeed at all costs. How do you get them to buy into the idea that they need to have a greater purpose?
Well, it really starts in recruiting for us, because everybody comes in at a different place. And for us, it's really about this is who we are and how we do things. And what we found is the right type of people are attracted to that environment over time. And it doesn't happen all at once. And a lot of times it takes months and years to walk alongside a player and really show them what it looks like to live and pursue the I am third life on the basketball court. But that's what we call coaching paychecks. When you see that light bulb click, when you see the transformation in their lives, and then it starts to touch everything in their life, and then they come back in 5 or 10 years and they're leading their family or their community in an I am third way. It's just really fun to journey alongside young men in that way.
And what is it that gives you purpose when you step out onto the basketball court every night for practice or for a game?
Well, I think it's this. It's seeing young men live into their full potential because they're putting God first and others second. It's not just, hey, we do a Bible study and then we go and we play in the way that everyone else plays. No, the things we're learning and growing in our faith are being applied to what we love the most. And when young people see that, and then a whole team is bought out for that vision, and you start to see it come to life on the court, that's really what the purpose is and where you find your joy in coaching.
And in your own personal life, we were discussing off camera, you have 5 children, so you're a bit of a coach probably at home as
Too
well.
Too much, yeah.
I'm sure your kids would say that. And so what advice do you give them about living intentionally and living with purpose and not by accident?
You know, what we talk about in our family is, what does it look like to love the Lord with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength? And really what we try to do is we try to apply that to the things that they love. So rather than compartmentalize their faith to just when we have a Bible study as a family, it's what are the things you're involved with? Who are the people that you love to be around? Now, how do you live out your faith in those areas? And then really encourage them in that direction. Now, listen, this is not a perfect science as a parent. I mean, we have all kinds of struggles and tensions at home, but we really believe that following Christ, putting God first and others second, is the best way to live and the best way to lead. So we're trying to just put seeds of that in our children's lives.
And you have a leadership development program, academy. What do you call it?
Yeah. So as I was journeying through coaching, the typical career path is to go to a higher level or another place when you have success. But I continue to feel like God was calling me back to the same place I was in. So because of that, I didn't want to be complacent. So I went through a doctoral program in a seminary at Indiana Wesleyan. And in the process, what was so fun was the professors kept saying, don't try to impress people who are pastors or clergy, but apply these assignments to what you do. Apply them to the basketball program. And out of that, I had to develop a doctoral level program. We called it Praying on Offense. And it was really, how does prayer come to life in a way that translates to people who are in the marketplace? People who are active, who love to live on mission. How do you make more practical and apply it to those things? So in the program, got 4 leaders from different contexts. They were leading different size things. And we just started to apply intercession. And we found a way to measure how intercession was impacting the lives of the people in their program and statistically validated growth in that. So then I've developed materials around that just to help people. What does it mean to apply prayer in a way that touches the lives of the people that you lead? Call it Praying on Offense. So it's been really fun to see it come to life in new directions.
And so who are you able to touch through that program? Is it students or business? It's anyone.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's come, one of the people in the program was a CEO of a company of 3,000. Another was a vice president of a higher education institution. Other was leading a company of 60. But they just said, hey, I'm leading this thing and I'm trying to lead at a high level, but I don't want to just compartmentalize my faith. And in fact, might God be on the front edge of what I'm doing outside the walls of the church? And what is the role that prayer plays? So then to see it come to life in different directions and to see God's movement outside the walls of the church into the marketplace has been really exciting.
And it's measurable, you said.
So had a genius professor at Indiana Wesleyan who basically developed a real-time app that measured the flourishing of people while at work. So we implemented this intercession program, and then we started measuring the flourishing at work, psychological well-being, social well-being, emotional well-being. And as the leaders started to pray, so there was 2 sides of the prayer, the intercession and the intentionality. So what are you discerning as you pray? How do you live that out in what we call fearless humility? So as you lead, take what you have, your position, your title, your influence, your gifts. Don't use them for yourself. Use them for the people who you serve, but do it as led by the Holy Spirit in prayer. And as we started doing this, these people in their company did not know it was a prayer program. They were just told your leader's undergoing a growth process, and we want to see if that touches your life. And we saw real movement in the lives of the people that were being led because of prayer. And to just think of that, this professor obviously was a genius in how he applied it, but it was just fun to see it come to life.
You touched briefly on some of the mental health, the emotional health, the social well-being, and that's a hot button topic right now as we all emerge from the pandemic and are dealing with a lot of things. And so how do you combine what you're teaching, what you're coaching, and then what you're teaching through your leadership program with staying mentally healthy?
Yeah, well, I think I know the areas that I'm not an expert, and I'm plenty fine to send people to the experts. So when we coach, we're always referring players when they need to in the right times to that. The other side of it is we also know if our players know Christ, the spirit of truth is inside of them. And so often coaches think, I have to be the expert and I have to give all the perfect advice for this person to flourish. But what we've recognized is, no, the spirit of truth is inside of them. What if rather than being an expert who has the answers, we're more of a sage who helps them discern the voice of God in their own life and follow the Holy Spirit's leading. And when that happens, all of a sudden they go to a whole new level. So there's both sides of this. One, we don't want to just come and lecture our players. We want to come alongside them and spur them on in their faith, But then when they have mental health issues that are above our pay grade, we send them to the experts because that's where they can find the help they need.
What advice do you have for someone who sort of says to you, I feel a bit lost. I don't know what my purpose is, my direction, my mission. How do you help them find that, identify what that is?
Yeah, well, we think a couple things are really crucial. One is start in prayer, to just go after God, to seek first his kingdom, but then get around of a community of people who care about your growth. They care more about your success than what they can get from you. And then start journeying together with those people. We just find that's why it's so fun to be part of a team is none of us are perfect. There's always tension and conflict and competitiveness in a locker room. I mean, we're not trying to find the 12 nicest people. We're trying to win at the highest level. But we find that friendship happens when you journey together in the same direction. And we're all shooting at this I am third life. And as we go for that with everything we have and with passion, we find we all grow in the process.
Any other advice that you would like to share?
I just would go back to I am third. God first, others second, I am third. The forces of this world will tell you that's not the way to live. It'll tell you to seek first what you need. But we really just believe that is the best way to live and the best way to lead.
So great to chat with you and meet you, Jeff. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching.